Well, yesterday we had a first ever NXT UK Takeover event in Blackpool, England yesterday. Um, I actually did watch this show yesterday about later on during the night. I didn't really get to watch it live. I was actually going out, spending time with family and so forth, so I didn't watch it legitimately live, but oh well, who cares? It's not like it's a big thing of a loss here or anything like that. But was the show decent? I would have to say, yeah, it was a decent show. It was enjoyable, but it was nothing like an NXT Takeover event here in the United States. Bottom line, the action was a bit slow. I don't think I really appreciate the British wrestling entertainment side of it. I don't think I can relate to it too much. It's probably why I didn't enjoy it as much as like a regular NXT show. Granted, it was their first ever takeover event for the UK, so we'd have to see how things turn out in future takeover events. Now, granted, this show actually took place pretty much the same place that they normally have their week to week shows, so that's another thing to look at with that being the situation. Things, though, about this show that was very good was the tag team title match, which was the opener of the show. James Drake and Zach Gibson actually win the tag team titles to be crowned as the first ever NXT UK champions for the tag team division. The Mustache Mountain Trent Sabin and Tyler Bate performed very well, very much similar to what they did with the Undisputed Era with the tag team titles. Very impressive matchup, very enjoyable as well. Those two guys make British style wrestling, especially in tag team action, very fun to watch. I see Tyler Bate eventually someday maybe making the main roster and doing something impressive with his career on the main roster, regardless of the fact of how crappy WWE really is right now. What else was good on this show? Toni Storm, she was fantastic. She put on a decent show with Rhea Ripley, who is the champion going in. I don't know why they never went with Toni Storm to begin with as the first women's champion. I mean, granted, on top of the fact that she was going ahead and was in the Mae Young Classic tournament to crown a woman wrestler champion of the year, I guess you could say, with the Mae Young Classic and so forth. So I was kind of surprised that she wasn't the first ever UK women's champion, but regardless of that, Ripley gave her a run for her money. She really competed. She had to compete very hard for this to win the championship, and she did an outstanding job. So I give her a lot of credit in this matchup. Ripley brought the best out of Toni Storm, which is one of the highlights of Ripley's, so to say, reason for this matchup. I think she brought out the best in Toni Storm to begin with. Toni Storm does win the championship on top of that. So, great matchup. One other thing I wanted to mention, Finn Balor. Finn Balor's matchup with this guy, I believe his name was Jordan Devlin. Or Jordan Devlin. Yeah, Jordan Devlin. Jordan Devlin is kind of like he's an Irish Dublin wrestler who is really a fucking tough, mean son of a bitch. He was supposed to face another person, but he ended up injuring his opponent going into this event, so he ended up having an impromptu match with Finn Balor. Finn Balor. If WWE can't give Finn Balor a matchup where he actually acts like a human being instead of a dumb-ass smiling buffoon, then why does WWE bother to have him on their program at all? I don't understand it. It makes no sense. and it comes across very, very weird. He wasn't smiles and all happy joyfulness or anything. He went into the event to entertain people, and he won. And he won in very good fashion, may I add. Action overall was decent, fun, and enjoyable matchup. Once again, everything on this card, don't get me wrong, was fun and enjoyable. But it wasn't something that got me out of my seat and scream, holy shit, about so much as if like the things that I've seen with the NXT US brand. NXT's version of what I consider to be a great show is what you would want to look at. Not what NXT UK gave us last night. But that's nor here or there, so it doesn't really matter. They're two separate entities. You got to look at them a different way. So comparing the two, I guess, would be a little too unfair. But the action was fun. The whole entire show was enjoyable to watch. Was it way better than a fucking 3-hour show of Monday Night Raw? Most definitely. If anyone finds anything appealing about Monday Night Raw, except maybe a few things that they did this past week, like Sasha Banks being announced as a person to face Ronda Rousey for the Women's Championship, you have severe head problems. Because the rest of that show is an absolute joke. 100%. So that's all I have to say on that load of bullshit. So that's really all there is on that subject. Finn Balor, though, he was great. He was portraying the character he needs to portray on TV for Monday Night Raw on the WWE main roster. Bottom line, that's what needs to happen. But they're not having him present that to us, so whatever. Let's see, what else for this show? We had Dave Mastiff. Yeah, Dave Mastoff versus opponent Eddie Denson. This guy Denson, he's a guy that goes ahead and he's acting like this big rough, tough UK wrestler who's a big badass, and his opponent beat him. Match was that was by far the worst match on the whole card, to be quite frank with you. I didn't even care for that match whatsoever. Dave Mastiff won this match in a no DQ contest. So overall, I could have cared less to watch this match. I spent most of my time watching and looking at shit on my cell phone. Then we get to the main event, and that'll be the last thing I have to talk about on this card. Pete Dunne retaining his title against Joe Coffey. I was actually surprised that they didn't have Joe Coffey win this title. Pete Dunne winning once again is getting a little redundant. Now, granted, the guy is a fucking outstanding performer. He has represented UK with flying colors. He has been a fantastic representative of the UK brand. But when does he lose his title? To who? To what? What is he going to do? Beat every opponent and then retire from the NXT UK brand and move on to the main roster and get turned into shit? I mean, come on. Joe Coffey would have been the best opponent, I think, to make him beat Pete Dunne for the UK Championship, which is their version of the heavyweight title. So quite frank with you guys, I honestly felt Joe Coffey was screwed over out of this situation. But, I mean, again, at the end of the day, what was the match quality like? The match quality was great. They both performed very heavy on each other, very stiff in the ring. We had a ton of different great entertaining spots throughout this entire matchup, especially the fact that this match was 34 minutes and 15 seconds long. I looked this up on Wikipedia before I got to do this review on this video. I'll tell you what, guys, that was, if they couldn't do anything in 34 minutes, they fucking suck. And they didn't outperform everybody. I think the tag team title match was the match of the night. That matchup went on and on and on for like almost 20 minutes plus and gave us a hell of a match. It reminded me a lot of Mustache Mountain against the Undisputed Era. Unbelievable action, good entertaining shit, and the same thing goes for the main event. But it was second best to the tag team match all around. So that was the match I enjoyed the most. I think the show was decent overall for its first ever UK Takeover event. Leave your comments and opinions down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and hit the like button if you like this video. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead, relax for the rest of this weekend until I gotta go back to my shithead job again and start going ahead and asking for people about their CPAP supplies, which probably don't even want to fucking know from that shit, and I don't blame you. It's fucking boring, and I absolutely hate it, but I make pretty damn good money doing it. But anyway, guys, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful night.